The food you're eating is not only causing you cancer, it's also making you stupid. I'm loving it. Hello there, you 6.4 million awakening wonders. Thanks for joining me on this voyage to truth and freedom. We live in a world where all about us there is corruption, but also there is great beauty within you and all around you. Stay connected to nature, stay connected to your breath. Don't feel afraid. We are going to win. We are going to win together. Turn on the notification bell right now and subscribe to our channel. We make content every single day for you because we love you, because we respect you, because it's working. It's actually working. Join us every day on Rumble. We do an hour-long show there where we talk about important stuff that you care about and try and have fun while we're doing it, even though a lot of the stuff we talk about is difficult. For example, you know food? Yeah, what? Food? What I require in order not to die? That you require in order that you die, because most food is now so bad for you, you'd be better off just eating tablets and staring off into limitless space, drooling. A new study suggests that much of the processed food we're eating is not only causing us cancer and diabetes and heart disease, it's also literally making us stupid and therefore easier to manage. Good news all round. When you get sick, they can sell you the medicine and you'll be a lot less trouble when they're lying to you the whole time. Let's get into this story.
We all know processed foods aren't really good for us physically.
So why are we all eating it? Like, why are we not using our collective intelligence and the ingenuity, the genius of people that have brought about technological and medical revolutions to get food in some sort of fit state for human consumption? Why are we still eating food that we know isn't good for us? You know what you're told? Oh, this is a choice that you should make at the level of the consumer. But I also know for basically a fact that it's people that are working all the time, don't have enough money, poor, bored, broken people are eating food that's bad for them. Why are we not spending time looking at ways of growing food locally where possible? Only transporting food around the world when necessary. Having as our aim optimal, healthy, nutritious food for us all. Why are we not doing that? Because it's not profitable and it's better to have people stupid and sick all the time. That's the answer. You know that, right?
But new research suggests they could hurt our mental health as well. A new study out of Italy links ultra-processed foods to depression. And some of you out there might be at higher risk.
You know that, right, already, don't you? As soon as you eat a bunch of processed food, you eat a bunch of crisps, chips, chocolate, ice cream, whatever, there's the moment, the delicious thrill of hacking through the evolutionary code. Oh my God, I've got all this sugar and fat, but then I'm not a good person. I'm a failure. I don't belong here. Because you're eating stuff that you're not supposed to eat for hundreds of thousands, collectively millions of years. We ate food that was scarce and difficult to attain. You know I'm a vegan. You know, I've got no problem if other people eat meat if that's their deal. But try not to eat heavily processed food, heavily processed sugars and seed oils. These things are killing us. Now, I'm not better than you. I'm doing it as well. But wouldn't it be better if in this issue, as well as other issues, the culture around us helped us, suggested good things rather than profitable things? So you get some patronising, why don't you try 5 a day? But what you don't get is we're going to control the price of good food. We're going to tax and prohibit food that's bad for you from being sold. We're going to help you. What's the point in a society if all it does is supports powerful business interests while turning you into a dumb, thick, cancer-ridden lump?
We're eating more processed foods than ever, and ultra-processed food make up nearly 60% of Americans' diets on average.
That's not just processed, that's ultra-processed. Hey, whoa, where you going? We've already processed that. Yeah, I know, but we're gonna ultra-process it.
A diet heavy in ultra-processed food could be responsible for increasing your risk of depression.
I'm loving it.
Australian researchers say even packaged products sold as healthy may leave us feeling down.
Down under, more like. Have you seen Bluey?
These days, there's plenty of factory food at our fingertips.
Ultra-processed foods are typically foods that come in packages, and they typically include a long list of ingredients, so things like artificial sweeteners and emulsifiers.
Yeah, so even if you are vegan or you're a carnivore, we're not at war with one another. If you're eating those kind of vegan foods that has that long list, I do sometimes eat, because they're delicious, because they're one of the few things that make being vegan bearable, then you're participating in the problem. You're eating stuff that is not good for you. Society's not going to do it for us, is it? The government's not going to do it. Big corporations aren't going to do it. We're going to have to do it ourselves. We're going to have to individually awaken and support one another. We're going to have to help one another along the path. We're going to have to check in with one another. Are you eating well? Are you doing all right? Have you had any broccoli today? I've got kids. I know how hard it is. You have to almost hold a gun to their heads to get them to eat a bit of spinach or something green. We're going to have to do this collectively together because they're not going to do it for us.
Now, Deakin University's Dr. Melissa Lane has has linked the consumption of lots of packet meals and snacks with having the blues.
The blues. Australia, even the news in Australia is so casual. I had the blues so bad that I couldn't stay alive no much longer.
It found those whose diets were comprised of at least 30% ultra-processed foods were at much higher risk of psychological distress.
People who were eating more ultra-processed foods had about a 23% increased risk of depression.
Yeah, that's quite significant. You are much more likely to be depressed if you're eating that stuff. Let me know in the chat in the comments. Are you feeling all right? Right. Is the answer no? Are you eating a lot of processed food? Right, that's part of it. Can you not afford to eat other food? Right, that's another part of it. Do you have no access to delicious organic food that could grow abundantly if we were willing to alter systems that benefit the most powerful institutions and interests in the world? What are we going to do?
The potential mood-lowering fodder is not just limited to buns and burgers.
Delicious. I'd love to eat that thing. If I was in that room, I would snatch that out of that man's hand, eat it, and then lick what remained out of his mouth.
Things like diet soda, things that we might consider to be relatively healthy for us.
I mean, this all looks normal. Firstly, that's the food that I grew up on, and it's still the food I crave right now.
While the packet stuff is often cheaper, it's not always the case. This protein bar just cost me $3 compared to this apple, which was 70 cents.
The mainstream. Do you know what I might do? Chuck it up in the air like that and catch it again.
Leading dietitian Susie Burrell says there's growing evidence that manufactured food may impact the microbes in our digestive system.
We have known for quite some time that a high intake of ultra-processed food has a profound effect on the health of the gut microbiome, which we're learning also has a profound effect over our mental health.
Things like microbiomes and gut health and the complexity of biochemistry in the body and our relationship between food, that's stuff that people just didn't talk about that long ago. But isn't it sort of odd that stuff your grandparents used to tell you, like eat your greens, eat your vegetables, it will help you grow, has all proven to be true? We evolved in harmony, of course, with the foods that we eat. We are creatures that are products of our environment. Part of the process of civilization is dominion over our environment. In extremis, what that means is we sort of ignore the fact that we had anything to do with it. We're creatures in a zoo. We're no longer aware that we are part of the sky and the trees and the soil. I don't mean this in a hippy-dippy way, just in a factual way that you evolved alongside it. You're supposed to harmonise with it continually. This is not a moral argument about the types of diet you have. This is a financial argument. There are certain financial and economic interests that benefit from you eating certain food, and since the advent of agriculture onwards, whilst it has solved the problem of starvation, it's also solved the problem of healthiness, of eating a varied and balanced diet based on your own personal needs and what your environment wants you to eat, because you are your environment. You're not separate from nature, you are nature. You're not separate from God, you are God. Will you please eat healthy food and try your best to fight against the machine that wants you dumb and stupid and sick and ill? I'm loving it.
So the fresh advice is...
If it doesn't look like food, it's probably not a good idea.
Emily Rice, 9 News.
Let's have a look at some more details around the story of how we're being slowly poisoned and made sick. Like that film, The Phantom Thread, where they make us ill so they can look after us. Are you ill, mate? Are you not very well? Yeah, I got myself a dicky belly. Do you want some medicine? Not really. You're having some. Now, obviously, we have to do a little commercial. I hope to God it's for something healthy and that I can make it amusing. Let's have a look at me. Good bacteria in your gut can impact every process in your body, even that one. But did you know 99% of probiotics don't even work at all? That's because they don't make it to your gut. They go down the mouth hole, they could end up anywhere. Unlike this smart probiotic by Height, the only product on the market that's proven to work by science. Gone are the days of feeling bloated, blocked and lethargic, and that's thanks to the world's first probiotic that targets gut, mental and immune health. You little capsule of glory. Boffins experts Poindexters in the Heights lab have shown that 33.9 billion friendly bacteria from this little bottle make it to your gut alive. You're gonna make it, kids! But that's actually 170% more than they claim on the label. This has got to be a first. It's better than they're telling you. Even better, you only need to take one capsule a day, which means you can say goodbye to foul-tasting liquid probiotics like this. Oh, you dirty devil. Where did that come from? An abscess. Take control of your gut health and keep yourself regular, you know what I mean, with the Smart Probiotic. Use brand 15 at checkout to get your exclusive discount. Now let's go back to that other magnificent young man. We've known for decades that eating such packaged products like some breakfast cereal, snack bars, frozen meals, and virtually all packaged sweets, among many other things, is linked to unwelcome health outcomes like an increased risk of diabetes, obesity, and even cancer. That should just be how it's explained all the time. Hey, you know this stuff causes cancer. It should be like cigarettes. Causes cancer. Causes diabetes. Do you think that the lobbying money that Big Food spends isn't about, could you just slow down the eventual revelation that our product is killing its market so we can just wait for a few more to be born so we can carry on killing them? That's what their lobbying money's for. All of Unilever and Kraft and great big companies own thousands of brands. You shouldn't be drinking Coca-Cola. You shouldn't be eating McDonald's. Of course you shouldn't. You know that. You don't need me to tell you. And if you do need me to tell you, God help you, because I'm an idiot. But more recent studies point to another major downside to these often delicious, always convenient foods. They appear to have a significant impact on our minds too. Of course, your mind's not going to be separate, is it? You're not going to be all eating like sugar and processed stuff and then like, I've realised there is no boundary to the self. We are continually breathing in and out. We are one. You're going to be like, oh God, I just had a poo and a bit of my bum fell out. Roughly 60% of the calories in the average American diet come from highly processed foods. Research from the past 10 years or so has shown that the more ultra-processed food a person eats, the higher the chances that they feel depressed and anxious. A few studies have suggested a link between eating ultra-processed foods, or UPFs, and increased risk of cognitive decline. They're making us stupid. 70% of the packaged foods sold in the United States are considered ultra-processed, the vast majority. They're increasingly edging out healthier foods in people's diets and are widely consumed across socio-economic groups. Even rich people are eating them and they're edging out healthy food. Hey buddy, would you like to have a banana, a little bit of broccoli maybe, or a delicious nut? No, thank you. I think I'm going to eat this vile, gorgeous blue shit. Ultra-processed foods are carefully formulated to be so palatable and satisfying that they're almost addictive. Do you remember when we all learned that social media sites knew that action, like, we just couldn't stop ourselves from doing it because we're such little bloody gorgeous little ape morons? I always suspected that what's happening online is basically what happens everywhere. That's the way that greed functions. They work out what's effective and successful and they just continually amplify it, and there's no point where they'll cap it and go, have we got too far now? Ultimately, in the end, we're just going to be scrolling and consuming blue delicious gunk and just dropping dead of cancer after they keep us alive about 20 years with very expensive drugs that they could lower the price of but won't. They're making it addictive. It seems that these apes get addicted to stuff if it's too delicious. Well, hold on a minute, but that means they'll just eat bad stuff all the time. Yeah, I know, but if you price that correctly, that doesn't matter. Yeah, but what about God and the way we should all treat each other? There is no God and nothing matters. Carry on. Ultra-processed foods are carefully formulated to be so palatable and satisfying that they're almost addictive. It's not almost, they are addictive, said Dr. Eric M. Hecht, an epidemiologist at the Schmidt College of Medicine at Florida Atlantic University. What does he know? The problem is that in order to make the products taste better and better, manufacturers make them less and less like real food. What's wrong with us? Do you know what people don't like? It's real food. What they want is something that looks like a hamburger but's made of sugar and dipped in heroin. This is delicious! Recent research has demonstrated a link between highly processed foods and low mood. No way. One 2022 study of over 10,000 adults in the United States, the more UPFs participants ate, the more likely they were to report mild depression or feelings of anxiety. How do you feel after drinking all that black sugary drink and eating all that salty, disgusting processed food? I'm wondering if I might be not a great guy. How about some more sugar? Okay. New research has also found a connection between high UPF consumption and cognitive decline. How are you feeling after eating all that food? Me no feel bad today. Me feel good today. More burger want. A 2022 study that followed nearly 11,000 Brazilian adults over a decade found a correlation between eating ultra-processed foods and worse cognitive function, the ability to learn, remember, reason and solve problems. Who needs any of that shit? Just sit down and eat your delicious sludge, you morons. Hokey dope. While we have a natural decline in these abilities with age, we saw that this decline accelerated by 28% in people who consume more than 20% of their calories from UPFs, said Natalia Gomez Goncalves, a postdoctoral researcher at the University of Sao Paulo Medical School and the lead author of the study. It's also worth considering the possibility that the link between highly processed foods and mental health works in both directions. Diet does influence mood, but the reverse is also true, said Dr. Frank Hu, a professor Professor of Nutrition and Epidemiology at the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health. When you get stressed, anxious or depressed, you tend to eat more unhealthy foods, in particular ultra-processed foods that are high in sugar and fat. Yeah, I think we all recognise that. Let me know in the chat in the comments. When you feel down and a bit depressed, one of the ways that you might try to soothe yourself or lift your mood is, ironically, by doing the thing that put you in that terrible state in the first place. You beautiful, daft monkey. A study by Imperial School of Public Health found that higher consumption of ultra-processed foods was associated with a greater risk of developing cancer overall, and specifically with ovarian and brain cancers. It was also associated with an increased risk of dying from cancer, most notably with ovarian and breast cancers. But do remember, it's delicious and it's highly profitable for the people that make it. How is it they're able to continue doing this when everyone knows that it's bad for us? Why are the government not doing something about it? Surely the government should be operating on your behalf to regulate these industries and ensure that where possible, we're given the best opportunities to stay healthy and fit. So why is that not happening? Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, AB InBev, and 27 other companies spend close to $40 million a year on lobbying in an effort to make their voices heard by lawmakers and regulators. Lobbying just means stopping people doing what they should do and would do if lobbying ended. That's it. And documents released in December show an influential group that helps shape US food policy and steers consumers towards nutritional products has financial ties to the world's largest processed food companies and has been controlled by former industry employees who have worked for companies like Monsanto. So the people that go, "We are America. Obviously, you idiots are eating poisonous food that we're selling you. That's why we, an independent body funded by them, have got some advice about what to do. Keep doing what you're doing, please. But it's bad for us. We don't care about that. Just keep doing it. And thanks for your taxes." The documents reveal the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics has a record of quid pro quos with a range of food giants, owns stock in ultra-processed food companies, and has received millions in contributions from producers of pop, candy, and processed foods linked to diabetes, heart disease, obesity, and other health problems. What is the point of that? What's having the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics owning stock in ultra-processed food? We are here for one reason, and one reason only, to direct you towards healthy food. Also, we do own stocks in very unhealthy foods that have caused this problem in the first place, but do not let that think that that will buy... What? Sorry? We accept money and we're funded by... Stop eating that good food and eat that food that you're already eating. It's also a way of measuring the disjunct between the way you're sold these products. When I think of pop and candy, I think, woohoo! Like Coca-Cola sold you. Can you remember a Coca-Cola advert that wasn't like just sort of some young, sexy person or a jolly family or Christmas itself? And McDonald's is also full of life and luster and vivacity and good humour and ease. But it's the actual opposite of what's going on. Have you noticed that? Continually through your culture, they tell you this, but really it's that. The Academy accepted at least $15 million from corporate and organisational contributors from 2011 to 2017, and over $4.5 million in additional funding went to the Academy's foundation. Among the highest contributions came from companies such as Nestle, PepsiCo, Hershey, Kellogg's, General Mills, Conagra, the National Dairy Council, and the baby formula producer Abbott Nutrition. Bloody hell, they always find a loophole. We have set up an academy to make sure this stops happening. Oh, that's not good. Can we fund it? Yes. Okay, carry on then. More than 300 children, including 2 10-year-olds, were recently found working at McDonald's restaurants across Kentucky and several other states in violation of federal labor laws. They're selling you bad food, they're exploiting your children, they're lying to you continually, and we're not going to do anything about it because the body that was inaugurated in order to protect you is funded by them. That is how it works. Are you loving it? So there you go. A simple story that shows you how you are being slowly poisoned by delicious foods. In a sense, it's a perfect metaphor for the way that we live today. Things that taste delicious because we were not evolved to have access to them in these proportions are slowly killing us, and the government's not going to do anything about it, and the corporations aren't going to do anything about it except set up regulatory bodies that are invested in things staying the same. Where's change going to come from then? You and me. But that's just what I think. Let me know what you think in the chat and the comments. How do you control your moods? How do you control your eating? If you enjoyed this video, have a look at either of these. Turn on the notification bell and subscribe. Otherwise, the algorithm will direct you to the mainstream media and direct you to probably more food. I bet there's a programmatic ad in this telling you to eat something disgusting, isn't there? Oh God, what do we do? Well, try not to worry, and please do try to stay free.